Well, did we expect an episode like this? Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Episode 8, Chapter 16, entitled The Rescue, and we get the biggest cameo appearance, the biggest character that we could have ever gotten in the Star Wars universe. But let's get into this episode. Let's get into this video of mine and talk about the episode entitled The Rescue. And that's what it was. Mando looking to retrieve the child, his son, pretty much, because he raised him pretty much. I mean, not raised him from when he was born, but he was with him pretty much the whole time. We see the opening scene. They board a Imperial shuttle where Dr. Pershing is. They're able to get the guy, talk with him, figure out what's going on with the child. He's safe. But first, we see Boba Fett and the Mandalorian bump into familiar faces in Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves. Now, Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves have a problem with Boba Fett. He's a clone. He's not a Mandalorian. You see the attitude with Casca Reeves and Boba Fett. They exchange words, and then they exchange a little bit of a scuffle. They got into a little bit of fight. We see Mercedes Varnado, who plays Casca Reeves. We know her as Sasha Banks in WWE, and she pulls out some of her wrestling moves. Pretty impressive. So I know that. Hey, I know that move. Hey, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a WWE fan. I see that. And then they agree to help, but there's some caveats. The main one from Bo-Katan is that she wants the dark saber. It was hers before Moff Gideon got possession of it. Mando's like, hey, my only priority is the child. So, yeah, you can have it, whatever. The child's my priority. And so they use that very shuttle that they commandeered, and they use it as a distraction so that Mando can do his thing and get the child. They pretend to be under attack while Boba Fett is the one that's shooting at him so that it can make it look like that. When they get on board the Imperial cruiser, they end up taking out all of these stormtroopers. And as they're doing that, Mando's able to, he nearly bungled it, but he was able to close off a majority of the dark troopers. One gets out. That guy is a handful. He took on that one guy, and luckily he had the Beskar armor on him, because the Beskar armor was what kept him from being a tin can, if you will. The dark trooper was even pounding on his face. Wasn't even denting it, but putting a dent on it. That gave him time to get his, faculties together, Mando, and he was able to take out that one trooper, but it was a lot of effort. You kind of hear him wheezing a little bit, because he's exerted a lot of energy. And when they're able to get to, he was able to get to where Grogu was. There was Moff Gideon with the sword out, had it hovering above the kid. Like, I don't think he was going to kill him, but it was just like, And then he agrees to give him over. He said, hey, I got all the blood I need. You can have the kid. He goes over to get him. Then what does Moff Gideon do? Moff Gideon attacks him. And again, another situation. Luckily, he had the Beskar armor, because even the dark saber, like Bo-Katan said earlier, is not going to be, the only thing that you can't penetrate is Beskar, pure Beskar. And then I was like, come on, man, pull out that damn staff. It's made of pure Beskar. He does, and then he gets it on with Moff Gideon. He was able to disarm him of the darksaber. He was able to take him down, and then you see him in cuffs later as he brings him to that main hangar bay, that main control center where everyone else was, the Fennec Shan and Katan and Reeves, and then there was there was Cara Dune. And then we hear Moff Gideon, like, I don't know if he was trying to use the Jedi mind tricks. He kept telling them what to do. He kept saying what was going to happen. no effect. And then he tells Mando, he even tells him that, hey, that's not that easy. He was going to just hand over the dark saber, but he talks about a thing where a story where it's like, no, you have to defeat a person in order to take the dark saber from him. That's what Mando did to Gideon. So it's not going to be that easy. He says, hey, she wants it, she needs to take it from you in battle. And then we see that the dark sabers, that would have been a cool name. The dark troopers were, Mando was able to open up the back door or the back thing, if you will, and then they all just scatter out into the universe. They're all they just get released. Get them out of their get those guys out of their hair, if you will, but it wasn't for long because they're coming back. And Moff Gideon says, well, you took you were impressive with that one, but how about a whole platoon? And then they come in formation. Even in a thing like this, man, it's like they're programmed to be a unit, and to do the whole formation thing, and they all line up, and then the two in front just use their fists there, their arms, and they start pounding like a battering ram. Two of them, and until the doors look like they're about to open. And then on the camera there, on the screen, we see a familiar looking craft, an X-Wing, land. And then we see this robed, mysterious figure come out, wielding a green lightsaber, and starts going to town, taking out every single one of the dark troopers, using the force throw, the slicing and dicing. And the thing about it got to me is like he took out everybody, right? I mean, even Moff Gideon took out Bo-Katan, shot her up. She was still on the ground like at the end. So I don't know what happened to her, if she was okay. I mean, I really didn't notice if she was okay because of all of what happened. You're absorbed into one main character showing up. And the thing about Fennec Shand, she's like going, because Mando was going, okay, let him in, open the doors, right? She's like, are you kidding? And I go, what do you mean, are you kidding? He just took out the whole platoon of dark troopers. Like, you don't trust the guy? But then again, yeah, he's a mysterious guy, you don't know where he is, but he was on the X-Wing, so he can't be he's not the bad guy. But they let him in, and then who is it? It's Luke Skywalker. Luke frickin' Skywalker. And of course, it's possible because this was 5 years after Return of the Jedi and the Fall of the Empire, so he's still in the storyline. It goes to show that these aren't different, separated timelines. They're actually in the same timeline. And he's there, and he addresses the little guy, Grogu, and says that without proper training, his powers are, he can't use his powers. He's got to, be properly trained because he possesses a great power, and he needs to know how to use it. Like Ahsoka Tano said to Mando, you got to find someone who's like him. That's why you got to put him on that stone in Titan, right? Find somebody out there. Apparently, his message got out, and then what a person to receive it, right? And in time. And he comes in and he says, what he said, and then Mando is about to hand him over. He says, I gotta give you to him. He can train you. And that's why I gotta hand you over. And then one of the most touching thing, cute thing, we see, Grogu with his tiny little hands just reach over to Mando's face, and then Mando does what he normally doesn't do. We all know that. Took off his helmet, revealed himself to Grogu, lets Grogu see him for the first time, and then he hands him over to Luke, And what was really, really just heartwarming and pretty much at times tugging at your heart was when you hear him, whimpering like he was gonna miss Mando. He didn't want to leave, But then you see that he was comfortable in Luke's arms, like he knew that this guy is gonna take care of me too. This is what Mando wants. Okay, I'll go with this guy. And then that wasn't enough. We hear the familiar beep beeps, and it's R2. It's R2. I've heard many R2 units throughout the entirety of the Star Wars, and not one of them sound like him. It's so unique, distinct. He comes into frame, and it's like Mandalorian TV series. You guys, Jon Favreau, you're tugging at the hearts of all of us OG Star Wars fans. Loving it. That's why I love this show. In general, I just love how it's totally, like the whole thing of there's that whole saying that what is that? I just thought about it too. It's just like you don't have a present without a past. Like myself, I'm not here without my parents. Like you're not here without your parents. I'm not here. My parents aren't here without their grandparents. Without my grandparents. It's like there's a beginning. There's a place where everything launches off from. So the fact that Jon Favreau is able to pull this off and be able to do this is amazing. It's a great testament to his love for Star Wars as well. And then speaking of the whole thing with Luke Skywalker, he has Grogu in hand, and he says those familiar words that we always love to hear, and that is, "May the Force be with you." And then we see Mando with eyes just welling up with tears. I mean, it's just like, he lost his kid. He's not gonna see his kid for a while. I mean, I say his kid because pretty much that's what we all agree, that it's his son, pretty much, because the relationship they have. It's just like a father and son. And he goes off, and it's just like, I'm done. I mean, good. The season can end right there, and let's look forward to the next season and what happens. And then the credits roll, and then we get something that we haven't seen all season. And if it did, I skipped it, because probably right after it ended, and I saw some of the credits, and then I just logged off of Disney Plus. And then we get an end credit scene. I guess it's fitting because it is the final episode of this season. And then we see a very familiar underground lair. Like, I've seen this before. The very same, and then it's just the same. The feeling. And then we see Bib Fortuna. Didn't the guy die on Boba Fett's little craft there, at the end of Star Wars Return of the Jedi? Right? I guess he didn't. He survived. And he was able to say, hell with Jabba the Hutt. I'm taking all his crap. I'm taking all of his stuff. His fortune. Everything. His bodyguard soldiers. His girls. His slave girls. I'm taking them all. And he's sitting on that throne looking a little fat. A little chubby. I think Bib Fortuna is definitely over those past some years, whatever how many years it was, right? 5 years or so. He was reaping the rewards and getting fat. He looked a little bit chubbier than he was last time we saw him. So he's there, and all of a sudden, here's a disturbance, and sends off one of his guards, and he gets shot. Another guard, he gets shot, and we see Fennec Shand come into frame, and then she sees a slave girl, tugging at the chain like we've seen in the past Star Wars, which girls trying to get away from Jabba the Hutt. And she looks at her, gets her blaster, just shoots the chain, and then she kind of nods to her like that, and she leaves. The girl gets out of there. And then we see Boba Fett behind her come in, and Bib Fortuna is happy. He's like, "Hey, I thought you died, Boba Fett." I heard some rumors, and he was talking, shot dead by Boba Fett. Boba Fett said, "You dumb mother F, I'll get you back." He pretty much just said, hell with you. And then Boba Fett takes the throne, sits there looking comfy. Got Fennec Shand on his right hand side, and she's drinking the drink. They looking pretty comfy. Are they taking over the throne? Are they gonna take the all the what you call it, all of the wealth that's there, you know, and stuff? Who knows? But that's how it ended. And then we see kind of a prologue, but it was just a few words. And in a few words, it said, "The Book of Boba Fett, coming December 21." Now, after this, I kind of ruminated over it a little bit. I'm going, you know, thinking about things that I just saw. What did I just see? Boy, amazing stuff in this episode. The best episode, I must say, even better than episode 6. Who would have thought, right? And then I read that there are some spin-offs series that are happening. One, the Book of Boba Fett. The other one is about Bo-Katan. And I'm like, whoa, you know, like that's pretty cool. I thought this was going to be like the next name of the next episode, or you know, in season 3. We might still see him, maybe not. Maybe he's going to go off into another thing on Boba Fett. I mean, not Boba Fett, but Mandalorian, the Mando, you know. And I was reading like this one article, and then they were saying like how is it that they're gonna continue on when the duo that was the complete, like, you know, attention and of the story in regards to the Mandalorian, that is Mando and the child Grogu. Now that Grogu is going to be out of the picture, he's off training now with Luke. What's going to be what's going to happen with Mando? But I'm sure there's many adventures that he can do, other things that he can do, you know. And you might even see some, you know, shots of Grogu training. You might flash over to him and show him for like an episode or two, and then go to Mandalorian. They could do that, sure. I'd love to see an episode or a season. I mean, a series with them training. That'd be cool. Luke and Grogu training. Oh, and then who knows? You might even see a little bit of a Force Ghost and Yoda, right? You know, I was about to say Yoda and him training, but then Yoda, you know, he passed in what do you call it, in Return of the Jedi. So there's no such thing as that. Not in its full, you know, realistic form, but it's going to be like a Force Ghost. So, but this season was a blast. This episode, you talk about a way to go out. If they were going to stop this series and just settle with the spin-offs, it would be okay, because at least everything came full circle, and he was able to get Grogu to whom he needs to get it to, and who better to get him off to, you know? If like you wanted to train somebody, let's say in like in the martial arts, and you wanted to be with the best person possible, and then you're able to hand that person over to Bruce Lee, like, he's in good hands. Holy crap, you know what I'm saying? So this is just like, he's like the Bruce Lee of Star Wars, you know. We have Luke Skywalker. Who better, right? But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Very, very just totally just gets you in the feels right here. You know, that's how Jon Favreau is so good at. And because he's also a guy who's an old school fan. Like, he's the one that brought it back to where it needs to be. You know, totally satisfies everybody. I don't know if there's really that many critics out there of The Mandalorian. Of course there's some, because people want to be different, right? But there's no complaint, you know, for season 1 or 2, and I'm looking forward to season 3. Let's see where Mando's going to go from here. There's plenty of opportunities. There's plenty of, you know, sky's the limit. You know, whatever things that they can put him in, whatever situations, adventures, characters that he's going to bump into. There's a lot of characters in the Star Wars universe, so not like he can't. There's a lack of you know, characters that they could bring back. They could even bring back some of the old school characters. They're still alive in this timeline, so we'll see, you know. Even though in real life, actors that are playing like Chewbacca, and recently the one who played Boba Fett in the original trilogy passed away. The guy who played R2-D2, Kenny Baker, passed. You know, so we're, you know, of course, you know, Carrie Fisher and like that. You know, we're losing a bunch of them. But we could also bring them back, always bring them back in their youth, in their form, with the technology they have and stuff like that. So there's just that to look forward to for season 3, whenever it's going to drop. You know, we'll be there. We'll all be there, right? We'll all be here waiting for it to drop. But that's my video for The Mandalorian season 2, episode 8, chapter 16 entitled The Rescue. Like I said, it's the best episode this season. And there were some good ones, but this one was the best. Especially because we got freaking Luke Skywalker. Holy crap. That was great. And R2. You know? And Baby Yoda finally, you know, coming, you know, he's finally going to be, well, paired up with his master. You know, Luke's going to be his trainer now, the one that's going to bring out all his powers and able to help him manifest and manipulate the powers and be able to hold them and be able to do whatever he needs to do and then be able to, you know, use them correctly. You know. But anyway, that's my video. And for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.